So, I thought this was a pretty challenging problem, and I'll ask you, can you solve it using only mental math? Give it a try, and when you're ready, keep watching the video for a solution. So how can we solve this problem? Well, the first thing that'll make it a little easier to present will be to substitute letters for the variables. So for the hat, we'll write the letter H, and then for the pi, we'll write the letter P. We can now compress our equations, and we now have a standard system of equations. So how can we solve this for H and P? Well, notice that HP is equal to PH. So in the first equation, we'll change this into a PH. Now, we have a PH in both of these equations. And if we subtract the second equation from the first, we'll cancel out the PH terms. So we now have H minus P is equal to 4. This means H is equal to P plus 4. We now want to go back to one of these equations. So let's look at the second equation and substitute in for H. So we have P times the quantity P plus 4 plus P is equal to 50. Well, we have P plus 4 terms of P, and we have one more term of P. So in all, we have P plus 5 terms of P. So the equation simplifies to be P times the quantity P plus 5 is equal to 50. Now we're supposed to be able to solve this using only mental math. So rather than going to the quadratic formula, let's just think about integer solutions. To do that, we'll consider the factors of 50. We can write that 50 is equal to 1 times 50, or 2 times 25, or 5 times 10. Now we're looking for two factors that have a difference of 5 because we have P and P plus 5. And 5 and 10 exactly fit this characteristic. So we can say P is equal to 5, and therefore we have 5 times the quantity 5 plus 5 is equal to 50. So we've solved that P is equal to 5. But wait, we're not done yet, because we don't just want to consider the positive factors. In this case, we could also have two negative factors being equal to 50. So it could be negative 1 times negative 50, negative 2 times negative 25, and negative 5 times negative 10. Now, again, we do have some factors that fit our characteristic of P and P plus 5. It'll be negative 5 times negative 10. But in this case, P will be equal to negative 10, and then P plus 5 will be equal to negative 5. But this will also get us to 50. So we have two possible values of P. We either have P is equal to 5 or P is equal to negative 10. H is then equal to P plus 4. So we have H is either equal to 9, or if P is equal to negative 10, H will be equal to negative 6. We can now solve for the value of H plus P plus H. When P is 5 and H is 9, we get a value of 23. But when P is negative 10 and H is equal to negative 6, we get a value of negative 22. So this is actually a pretty tricky problem because not only is it tricky to solve in your head, but there are two possible values for the very last equation. Did you figure it out? And did you use only mental math?